Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my labor and delivery story with Liam. Tomorrow is Liam's 3rd birthday, so I just thought that it was a good idea to put this video up because 3 years ago today I went into labor with him, and yeah. If you haven't checked out my how we found out we were pregnant with Liam video, make sure you go check that out. There will be a link in the description box below, so you can either go check it out before or after. It doesn't matter, just go check it out. And I am better prepared today. I wrote down everything that I wanted to talk about. I'm just gonna jump right into this because I don't know how long it's gonna be and I don't want to keep you guys waiting. So I went into labor with Liam on January 12th of 2015 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I just remember I was feeling contractions, I was kind of crampy, and I wasn't sure if I should call because it was my first pregnancy, and a few weeks before that I had called, went into the hospital, and they sent me home. So I didn't really want to get my hopes up of like, oh, they'll admit me or they'll want me to come in. But I just called right away because my husband was off, so he was with me, and he just said that it was a good idea to call. So I called my doctor, I told him how I was feeling, what my contractions were like, how far apart they were, and he told me that I should go in to the labor and delivery. Now the hospital was only a minute away from our house. We went into the hospital. We didn't bring our bags because we thought that we would be sent home without a baby, so we're like, whatever. We went in, they checked me in, they said I was dilated 2 centimeters and that it was probably a good idea for me to walk around the hospital. Now the hospital that we delivered at, the labor and delivery unit was so small that we were basically walking in a circle over and over and over. The same circle. It was a small circle, it wasn't big. We walked for about an hour, maybe 45 minutes, and I was getting tired, so I wanted to go back into the room. So when I went back into the room, they put the monitors on me and they said my contractions were picking up. So my doctor came in and said that they were going to admit me, but they were not going to induce me until later that evening because there was only one doctor on call for that night, and they didn't know if, you know, a mom who was more in labor than me would come in, and they didn't want to get their hands full with too many women who are in labor. So I understood, and I was fine. I was fine with knowing that we weren't leaving the hospital until the baby was born. So my husband went back to my mom's house, which is where we were living at the time, and grabbed our bags because we didn't go with our bags, and we knew that this was official, that we were going to stay. So he went back and grabbed our bags and came back, and I remember at the time the hospital was going through construction, so the labor and delivery unit was blocked off, so we had to walk all the way around to like the main entrance of the hospital, and it was just crazy. Like, our doctor said that it was going to be done by the time we had our son, but it wasn't done. So it was just a huge, like, it was just ridiculous how far we had to walk in order to get to our car and to get into the hospital. So around the time that I was being admitted into the hospital, when they were checking me in, hooking me up to all the monitors, my sister had gotten out of school because she got out around like 3:45. So her and my mom came and visited us and just hung out with us because it's kind of boring. There was nothing much to do. So they just came in and visited us. I remember it was a Monday night and The Bachelor had just started. It was, I think, Chris's season, and so we were watching it, and I remember my doctor kept coming in and he was just like watching whatever was happening, and he was laughing with us, and it was fun. I was not able to eat because you're not allowed to eat until after you have the baby, just in case you have to go in for an emergency C-section. But I remember Kevin was so hungry, I told him to go eat. I said, you can bring food back here, I don't care, it won't bother me, just go eat, because he needed to eat. So I think he went and picked up Steak and Shake just so he got something in his stomach, because it wasn't fair to him to starve himself because I couldn't eat. So, and I was fine, I was feeling fine, I wasn't hungry. Just hung out in the hospital room. My brother came by and visited. It was just very calm and relaxing because I wasn't induced, I wasn't in pain, I wasn't, like, the contractions didn't start picking up yet. So around 9 p.m. I felt like a little bit of water, and I thought it was my actual amniotic sac breaking, but turns out that I had like a little sac under the whole amniotic sac. So that's what happened, was just like it burst a little bit, because when she checked me she said that the amniotic sac was still intact. But it kind of freaked me out because it's like, oh my goodness, it happened so quickly, but it was just a false alarm basically. And then around midnight they induced me, they gave me Pitocin, just a little bit because they saw that the contractions were picking up by itself, but they wanted my contractions to continue because what was happening before was my contractions would stop around 7 p.m. and they wanted them to just keep going because obviously they wanted the baby to come. So around midnight they gave me that, and then right after they gave me the Pitocin I fell asleep, and I was able to sleep until like 4 in the morning. It was on and off that I kept waking up and going back to sleep just because the blood pressure cuff, the machine kept going off and it was so annoying, and the nurses kept coming in, and all Kevin and I wanted was to get some sleep because we're like, we don't know what's gonna happen in a few hours after the baby's born. Like, we probably aren't gonna get any sleep. So we just wanted to get as much rest as we could, but it was so hard with the nurses coming in and out, checking me, checking the blood pressure machine, and all of that. So I was able to sleep till like 4 in the morning. Once I woke up at 4, I couldn't go back to sleep. The contractions were just so intense, and so I asked for the epidural. And I also didn't want to wait too long for the epidural because I know that they will sometimes tell you like you're too far along, you can't get the epidural. So that was my biggest fear. I didn't want that to happen, so I requested it, and they said that Kevin had to leave the room because at this hospital their policy was only the nurse and the anesthesiologist in there, which I was fine with. I was kind of nervous, but you know, I was okay. As long as I get this drug, I was absolutely fine. So Kevin went to get coffee, and the epidural went fine. It was a lot less scary than I was expecting. I thought it was just going to be this huge like needle and I was going to feel it. Didn't feel it at all. It was actually fine. The nurse was very helpful. She told me what to do. She helped me through it all. So that was really nice. And then when Kevin came back around 4:30, and the anesthesiologist was taping at my back, and the huge gush of water just happened, and I was like, I'm peeing, I'm peeing, I'm peeing. Like, it just felt so weird, and I still felt it because I wasn't completely numb yet, and it was just so funny. Kevin was laughing at me, and the nurse was laughing. She's like, it's okay, like, your water just broke. And I was like, okay, whatever, like, this is whatever. But instantly, the epidural gave me relief. I was able to sleep for, you know, 2 more hours, around like 6:30 a.m. And then I just woke up and, you know, it was light outside, so I was like, I can't sleep now, like, I am awake. And the doctor came in and checked me, and he said I was 7 centimeters dilated, which I was like, okay. I knew that I had to be at 10 centimeters. My mom and my sister came back and visited me before my sister had to go in to school. She was only going in for the first class because she had to take a final for her Spanish class, and then she was going to come right after. So when my mom left, they thought that I wasn't going to have a baby for, you know, a few more hours because the nurse had said, like, I was really swollen and that the baby's head wasn't going to be able to come down any farther. So, you know, we're just like, okay, whatever, we'll just wait. You guys go take her to school, come back, whatever. So my mom takes her to school, and it was like, I think 9 o'clock when they left. No, it was like 8:45 when they left, and 9 o'clock the doctor came in and was like, okay, you probably aren't going to have him until around 12. That's when the second doctor was going to come in, and that was the plan. I was like, okay, 12 is fine, that's a few hours away, whatever. But then he comes in at like 9:20 and was like, you're 10 centimeters, his head is right there, I think it's time for you to start pushing. And I was like, what? Like, I don't, like, you guys just told me I wasn't gonna have him for a few more hours, I'm not ready for this. I was like, whatever, you know, I can't stop him. So, you know, it took me 20 minutes. It took me about 9 pushes. At first I was pushing with my face, and I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to push with my face, and I mean, obviously, like, I felt it in my face, it hurt so bad. So I pushed 9 times, and out he was. It was a quick delivery. I only tore a little bit. It was so minor, like, I didn't even feel it. And there he was, 7 pounds, 20 inches long, super healthy. He had like the loudest lungs ever. He wanted everyone to know that he was there. And I remember my mom had said, like, when they came back, after she had gotten she picked my sister back up from school, and so when they came back, she knocked on my door, and the nurse was like, she's pushing, and they closed the door right away. And so it was just funny, all in the matter of that short time, I had him, and he was just ready to be born and to be here, and I was so happy. So 9:43 in the morning on January 13th, he arrived, and he was so healthy, so happy. I started crying, and then I was kind of like so scared. I was like, I'm a mom now, like, this is all real to me. So I kind of choked back the tears, and I was just enjoying him and just being a mom. Like, that moment is just so important and so memorable. And I remember when they laid him on my chest, he peed on me, and it's funny because Wyatt did the same thing, but I just remember that day, and I can't believe it's already been 3 years, because I remember it so clearly, like it was just yesterday, and here we are 3 years later, and I'm telling this story to everyone out on YouTube. After he was born, they were giving him a bath, and Kevin did cut his cord, the umbilical cord, and Kevin took pictures of him. They were just getting me all fixed up, whatever. They had to change the bed linens. They changed my gown just because of everything. And they were trying to get me to stand up so I can go to the bathroom because my bladder was still full. I didn't feel like it was full, but they said it was. And this was 4 hours after he was born. My legs were still numb, completely numb. I remember my sister and I were trying to rub my legs to massage them to kind of like get them moving, but the epidural was so strong on me, I couldn't feel a thing. And I remember when I was pushing with Liam, my legs had to be held up by the nurse and by Kevin, and every time Kevin would walk away to go get me a washcloth, my leg would fall. I couldn't feel it at all. And so I don't know if my body was too small for the epidural or if they gave me too much, but I couldn't feel a thing. Like, I didn't feel anything at all. I didn't feel any contractions. The doctor had to tell me when to push. So at 12 o'clock, I couldn't feel my legs. And, you know, it was 4 hours after I had him. The epidural should wear off by now. And so it was just you know, they were massaging my legs, but then they were like, we can't wait. You have to go to the bathroom. Your bladder is still full. So they brought this like wheelchair thing in, but it was like one to where they could still open it up and sit me down in the toilet. It was so weird, but I had to do what I had to do, you know. I went to the bathroom, everything was fine, and then a few hours later, my legs started coming back and feeling normal again, and we were in another room. They move rooms after you have a baby. Everything was great. Liam was diagnosed with jaundice, but it wasn't too big of a deal. They caught it as soon as he was born, and we thought we were gonna have to stay in the hospital an extra day, but he was able to come home with us, and we just had to monitor it, and we had to go to doctor visits, you know, in the first week. And we also had to sunbathe him. He had to be in the sun for a little bit just because it would help with all the jaundice in his liver. But I mean, it was great. I remember everyone coming to visit. So many people came to visit. I remember at one point it was so hot in the room because he was in like the little, I don't know if it's an incubator, like the little bed with the lights over it just to help his jaundice go away. But it was so hot in there because of that. And then we had like 10 people in the room because there's no limit to how many people could come visit you, which I didn't mind that. It was just so many people in there that I was like, whoa, like it's so hot in here, I can't even handle it. But I just felt so happy and blessed to see everyone come and, you know, visit us to see our new baby, and everything was great from there on out. So we had a great delivery, great care afterwards. The baby was good, and I still can't believe 3 years later I'm here, and he's just awesome. He's such an awesome kid. Alright, so that is it for this video. I hope you guys like it. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next vlog. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.